I'm speaking generally in this context of being fat and why you were depressed. It's because
that wasn't the only reason why I was depressed, but go on.
Okay, but it's a component. You know what I mean?
It was a big component.
It was
for
a
sure.
response to your inadequacy as a man. And the thing is that
between jacked men and fat men. Our first prompt
The farthest
is,
dude to the right doesn't even look fat.
I have felt disgusted looking at a fat body.
well, it's unacceptable to be fat.
Okay, that's a great start. I mean, I know why you say that, but it's one of those things where,
He's a good-looking dude.
do you know why you're saying that?
Yes, because I've been fat before and I lost the weight.
Well, me too. I've been fat my whole life. I've been way skinnier than I am now, and I've been way heavier than I am now. Was I less valuable at one point in there?
Well, I mean, you can
yes.
make an argument that you're less valuable when you're fatter because you drain resources, but that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, I mean, in general, being fat is unacceptable because you control every single morsel of food that goes into your mouth.
Okay.
It shows a lack of discipline, it shows a lack of character, it shows a lack of temperance, and when you're fat, it's an outward manifestation of your inadequacies.
When I see somebody who's 500 or 600 pounds, all I can think of is, why do they care so little about their health that they can do this, allow themselves to gain that much weight, knowing it's taken
That's
20,
a little,
30...
okay, that's a little extreme right there, right? Like not everyone's to the extreme where health is everything or fitness is everything. But I do agree with the fresh and fit dude, because like his very, very straightforward thinking is, you know, it's like you can obviously change.
30, 40 years off their life. I just can't imagine not wanting to live that badly.
I understand that. No, it's I've definitely felt disgusted looking at my own body and looking at other fat bodies in my life. A lot of the disgust I felt looking at people was me feeling disgusted with myself and then projecting that feeling onto other people. And I don't think anyone on either side will disagree that health is important. I know that my own mental health was way worse when I was spending every fixate of my life trying to get smaller and trying to be thinner.
I don't think there's anyone that can look at somebody 500, 600, 700 pounds and not think, wow, what have they done? And not be disgusted. Like, how can you not? I just can't understand.
Okay,
You can't
nobody
assume that
thinking
everyone has the same opinion, though, because unfortunately, some people have emotional stuff that happened, traumatic stuff that's happened, so you can't discount and just say, oh, because they're fat.
Boo-hoo, man. Like, there's way worse stuff going out in the world versus people saying, oh my God, I'm sad, I'm gonna
I don't
eat some
agree with that.
ice cream. It's like, no, dude, it's like, you're fat, you made that decision, you live in the best country ever. If you live in a civilized, first world country where you have electricity, internet power, etc., you deserve to be bullied. It's ridiculous to me that we have all these fat people running around, meanwhile.
Definitely not. Do not deserve to be bullied, but I do understand where he's coming from. You have all these resources, you can make a change. I get where he's coming from.
People are being bombed in Gaza. It's ridiculous. We are so privileged here in the United States and in the West in general. When I see a fat person, I'm like, wow, you got the gift of life. You got the gift of being in a developed country, and you're a fat POS talking about body positivity on TikTok? What the hell is going on
But now
here?
you're segmenting, though, because not everyone thinks like that.
No, we need to bring shaming back.
Okay.
We need to bring shaming back in so many other regards besides obesity. We need to do it with sluts. We need to shame fat people. We need to shame everybody when they fuck up. Because shame has been one of the strongest defenses against degeneracy and human fuck-ups.
You have.
See, when he brings up shame, I get what he's saying, but what if, like, the perspective of shame was different, right? Like, what if it was shameful to be fit? Like, what if that was a thing? So now it's like a flip. So what if, like, most of the people in the world were fat and being fit was looked down upon because it was like, oh, you're insecure, so you're trying to be fit. Like imagine if the majority was the opposite. It's like if you go to like I'm in the U.S., so we drive on the right. And you go somewhere else, they drive on the left. And it's like, now I'm the weird one. That type of thing.
At the end of the day, if you don't lose weight, by definition, you're not in a calorie deficit. If you're not in a calorie deficit, then you're gonna either maintain or gain weight. And that's the problem, is that people don't track their calories.
And that's true, but people burn at their resting metabolic rate a different set of calories.
Let's bring in the disagreeers.
Okay, so the reason I disagreed, especially when I heard the statement, I don't think I'll ever look at somebody based on their situation and think that I'm disgusted. Like, if I see somebody that's a drug addict on the street that's homeless, I'm not disgusted by that. If I see somebody that's incredibly overweight, I'm not disgusted by that. Do I think that there's an opportunity for growth? Do I think they've been put in a disadvantageous position that's probably makes it harder for them? Absolutely. I think I'm kind of an empath, so when I see somebody, I know that there's things underlying. And one of my best friends is 400 plus pounds. I've helped him lose 150, 200 pounds. He's gained it back. And I don't look at him and say, I'm disgusted, but I know how bad he wants it.
Yep.
And just seeing how hard he tries and then reverts, it's almost more tough for me than to be like, oh, that's disgusting, you know? And I think there's plenty of people that look at me and say, that's disgusting. I never want to look like that. So like, I know what it feels like on the other side to like look the way I do and get people look at me like, ugh, that's gross to like have that muscle. And to go back to that point, like you came from a fit place and like deciding to bulk, like that's a conscientious decision to gain weight. Like you already have those habit
was a
routines
choice.
and skills in order to stay in shape, and then you use those same skills you had to pull back on the calories and knowledge you had.
The reason why I use that example is that you can get fat and lose the weight if you know what you're doing and you have the knowledge and everything else like that. It's just about consistency over time. So it's like, I look at it
Boom,
like,
let me cut you off, because here's one thing that you just said.
yeah.
You had the tools. So there's people that don't have the tools that you've passed judgment on, and you have failed to realize that with the tools, people are very much capable of achieving amazing things. There are multitudes of factors that weighs into what goes on with somebody's body. There are people that even if they work out, losing the weight does not come as simple as just going to the gym, cutting calories, watching everything that you eat. There are some people that have a disposition. I have a disposition. But does that mean that I'm not active? Does that mean that I'm not doing certain things? No, it doesn't. But you're passing judgment on somebody's body that you know nothing about. Now, on the flip side, what if I turned around and I did the same thing to you? You're talking about how fit and stuff that you are, but you're over there and you're smallest compared to these other guys.
Yeah.
So how does that feel if someone comes up and they start shaming you for size? Like, come on, it goes both ways.
We're just in the first
So,
prompt. We gotta be
here's the
careful about target.
Oh, that was a fire. That, like, I totally get what he's saying, because that was just what I was mentioning earlier. Like, there's a flip side to this. Like, it's all perspective, right? Like, shame can go both ways.
I don't think anyone's debating that weight loss is impossible here. I think the question is, why do you hate fat people, that you feel the disgust
that's the
towards
true
it?
part.
Well, like I said before, it's a culmination of a bunch of bad decisions. I'm not going to go ahead and give the same level of respect to someone who's a fat ass to someone that has worked really hard and diligently on their physique, because your body's outward manifestations,
There's more
other decisions,
factors to a
your
human
consistency.
being than their
Than
body.
just their fit, yeah.
Well, you could judge a lot just off of someone's physique. You'd be like, okay, well, this guy is lazy, and that's personified through their physique. It's the truth.
Yeah, I don't know if like disgust would be the right word, right?
I know.
Greg mentioned some health implications with being overweight or obese.
Yeah.
I think being concerned might be a better.
That's the word I was
you know,
going
a
to go
better
for.
word.
Like
but-
I can show concern for someone for the way that they are, but I would never look at someone and say like, you're
That's true.
disgusting.
But is it any
Like-
different than if you see somebody who's extremely anorexic, they're 50 pounds, you look at them and you're in shock? Oh my God, like something happens in your body you can't control. You can't stop that.
There
Like
could
how
be a-
can
there
you
could be a
not?
shock
It's not, I
factor,
don't
but
hate them.
that's different.
Oh my God, he sounds like a fit racist. That's like a fitness racist. Like if you're skinny, I hate you, or if you're fat, I hate you. It's like that's what it sounds like.
It's just wow, oh my God, it's like it's disgusting. Like holy goodness
But
gracious.
why
That's a
would
shock
you
factor,
use
though.
the
That's
word
not-
disgusting,
that's not
right?
disgusting.
So you just mentioned the polar opposite of what we are, right? But why would you look at them and be disgusted versus concerned? That is a very specific word, and it has
is.
very specific connotations behind it. And when it's used, it's somewhat weaponized as well.
It
I don't
is.
think we can help how we feel. I don't think I can choose like, oh, I just am not. It would be sitting here and lying. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm always going to be honest with people. I'm disgusted. This is just how I feel.
The thing is, when you see a fat person, the reason why it's disgusting and the reason why there's so much pushback on this whole body positivity, and people make fun of Lizzo, rightfully so, by the way, is because it's unattractive, it's unhealthy. Until we had this woke era, they used to put like models and attractive people on the cover of magazines that were in shape. Why? So that people can aspire to look like that. And it's healthy and it looks better in general. You look good, feel good. But when you're fat, it says a lot about you. People aren't going to sit there and be like, let me see if he's a good person. No, they're just going to assume that you're lazy, which you are, by the way, when you're fat, and you don't have discipline, which you are, by the way.
I don't agree. Obviously, I do understand what he's saying. Yeah, yes, like anybody can lose weight, so you could go out there and lose weight, right? Because if you're not lazy, you can prioritize and go. But it's all about prioritization. But it doesn't mean that you're not lazy. It just means you're putting priority somewhere else. There's more things to a person than just fitness. But I do get what he's saying, that when you do see it, look at someone, you say, oh, this person has that type of personality because they're fit.
So they're just gonna assume off of what they see. That's the world that we live in.
I love how you stated a ton of assumptions.
Just one question. Like, let's say you knew he used to be 600 pounds, and how much you weigh now?
I'm 384.
And now he's 384. Do you see him as less disgusting knowing he's lost 220 pounds?
No, that's fantastic.
I
but
think yes,
there's still
less.
work to be done. But here's the thing, like I said before, unfortunately, human beings judge a book by its cover. It's just the world that we live in. Fat people that identify as 97 genders, whatever, they expect us to change our worldview for them, and that's just not how the world works.
Jacked men are more attractive than fat men. Will the agreeers please step forward?
You see, that's also subjective, because I do.
How come there's 4 guys over there? All right, we're living in a bizarre world where
like,
people don't see the truth.
I do agree, right? Like, I do agree that fitter men are more attractive, but that's coming from a man. Coming from a woman, it might be different. I don't think women care that much about the fitness. Men see fit men as attractive, but that's not what really matters now, is it?
Like, how is it possible that they're thinking, no, being obese and unhealthy is more attractive than being fit and healthy? How is this possible?
Actually, you know what? This is precisely why a majority of women find a majority of men as unattractive. Because a lot of guys think this way, oh, I just be a nice guy and girls are gonna like me. No, they're not. She's not gonna suck your dick with the same veracity.
Not just being a nice guy. Anybody can be a nice guy. It's the rest of the stuff that matters.
When you're a fat as when you're in shape. She's just not. See, people don't understand that women are aroused by one thing and they're attracted by another thing. Women are attracted to, a guy that's confident, ambitious, makes money, etc. Of course, right? But they're aroused by guys that have asshole tendencies, dark triad traits, etc., and guys that are physically in shape. So if you want to get the best of your woman, where she respects and admires you, while simultaneously being aroused by you, so she doesn't cheat on you, you need to have it all.
You're saying that.
So basically, he's kind of linking it back to earlier about how like people judge off of looking because that's what people do. You look at a person, you judge them. That's a normal thing. That's society, right? So he's saying if you're fit, basically you have more chances for women because you show that you have drive, you have a passion, you have something other than if you're fat and people might judge you as being lazy. That's his whole point.
That's true for all women?
A staggering majority of women.
There might be 1% of the world that there's something wrong with them that might think that, you're 600 pounds, it's so hot, I love that, but...
The hot girls that you actually want, they exercise their hypergamy to the highest degree, and they want guys that are fit and have their money together, have their life.
The guy in the blue shirt is like literally a racist against fat people. That's oh my God.
Because the question was, are jacked men more attractive? We all walked over. Are we more attracted to jacked men?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm assuming they framed that because we're all guys here they mean women.
Well, men can be attracted to
If
men.
I had to switch teams, I'm going with the jack guy.
Obviously, this is going to be like personal biases, but I think attraction is very fluid in the sense that I can 100% admit, like, there was probably 40 pounds of muscle ago is when most women would be like attracted to me. Of course, like fitness girls, they're totally okay with the size I am, but like probably most girls, I'm like too much for. So I guess like where do we draw that line of like, I think, for example, like you would be much more attractive to most women than me. Would you agree with that?
I mean, that doesn't mean that like if you walked up to a girl and let's say you're not her, like you're a little bit more muscular than she would like, if you have the charm and charisma, she gonna still go with you, man. It don't matter. Like,
I have an interesting
Oh my God, that was like a really, really bad defense compared to everything else that he says, because I get it, right? Because that's what I said with being fat. When you have personality and you can make them smile, it don't matter what size you are.
Men knew this is how we wish they looked, and like, oh, this is
Liars
like the dream.
for social
liars,
media.
man. Liars for
To look good,
One thing
for
about
clout.
you can never believe what women say, man.
I actually kind of agree with that. You never believe what a woman says because women expect you to read their minds. Unfortunately, it's like kind of true. But you still got to listen to them.
Believe how they behave, not what they say.
That's a different episode.
That is a different episode.
I am a big and tall model by trade. That's what I do. I model clothing brands. I've modeled with major fashion houses. I've been on the covers of magazines. You mentioned before dad bod comments and whatnot on social media. I was flabbergasted when I started how many people were commenting and DMing me and talking about how attractive I was, that it just kind of, I don't know, showed me that attraction is a lot more subjective than I thought, and people have a much wider range of what they find attractive than specifically a body type.
Is being jacked the most important trait for being attractive? I'd argue for guys, it'd probably be otherwise, right? I think height would be a bigger
Money,
component.
height, fame, like what can you bring to the table?
The number one thing is status. By far, status.
People also go after what they think they can get. So if this guy is 6'5" and extremely attractive, and it's like, well, I can't get that guy. I'm attracted to the 10 on 10 supermodel, but I'm not going to get her, so I'll be happy with the 9.9 on 10.
Just to be clear, are we speaking about women being attracted to men?
It's not just about women. It's just about attraction. What is the most attractive, in your opinion, physique for a man?
Okay, I'm speaking from like what women find attractive. So when I speak, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I'm
anybody.
sexually fluid. So my law of attraction does not adhere to anyone's standards, pretty much. I'm attracted to people in general. So you could be jacked, you could be more plus size, you could be skinny, you could be whatever it is.
Look at him, he looks so confused. He's like, what is this guy talking about? This is a whole different world. It doesn't compute in his brain. He's thinking hard and the cogs are turning.
Attraction isn't a choice, and there are hardwired traits that women look for in men. And what I've come to realize is that what women put out there is
Attractiveness isn't a choice, he said, which is, I think, true, right? Because, a lot of people, people that are fluid, the example here, you just like what you like. But he's going to go to the statistical, logical thing is, in general, fit people are generally more attractive to people in general. I'm pretty sure that's what he's gonna go with.
Is what they find attractive or politically correct things. Oh, he has a dad bod. He's nice. He's a good guy. The reality is that women don't respond well and favorably to these men. There's a reason why nice guys finish last is a thing. It's because when you're too nice and you kind of bend to her will, etc., girls aren't aroused by that. Girls don't want to say what they're really aroused by. Guys that are able to stand up to them, guys that are able to tell them, well, that was a stupid comment, or hold them accountable for their stupidity when they do dumb things. This is what women find attractive because these are leadership traits.
Have any of those things happened to you, though?
Well, I mean, I've talked to almost 3,000 women, and what I've come to realize from talking to all of them is that most of the time, when they're in a comment section of TikTok, like, you're so handsome, blah, 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 will they actually go on a date and have sex with that guy? Probably not. But they say that because it's politically correct, and women tend to not want to be adversarial. They're going to say what sounds good, but what they're actually aroused by are two different things.
But they're married to those guys.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was
Most
getting to.
often they're married
I'm
to
married.
And
to
marriage is a failed institution in the West, and this is why most men get divorced by women. This is why they get destroyed in the divorce courts. This is why women overwhelmingly initiated the divorce rates in America. 80% are initiated by women, because we sit here and we lie and we believe what women say they're actually attracted to. No, they're not attracted
Let's
to a
go
lot of
back
things
to
they talk about.
attraction for a second, though, because I'm married.
Sure.
I have a child.
Cool.
I have a beautiful wife. I was this size the entire process through it.
Would you say that you're an average guy?
I would say that
How
I'm bigger
tall?
than average.
6'5",
Yeah, you're not an average guy.
and a model
You're not an average
for
guy.
being slightly
I
overweight.
wasn't a model when I started
But
dating
you are
my
a very
wife.
good-looking,
I was
tall,
a
big
bartender
guy
fucking
who's
doing
on
whatever.
magazine covers. So
But I
out
know,
of the
I think-
million guys overweight, you're at
But
the
you're not
top.
an average guy.
But I
But
think
what
what
I'm
you're missing
saying-
is he just said that he wasn't any of those things.
He's not 5'6",
before
man, like
he
me.
met his
Try
wife.
being 5'6" and doing it.
No, I totally agree with you. Well, that's what I was gonna actually agree with Myron for a second. Believe it or not, we're talking about. You mentioned status, and then
status.
a lot of people other mentioned confidence. So you even put it in your own pecking order ahead of being jacked or being physically
status, for sure.
attractive. Wouldn't you say that matters more? Confidence, how you carry yourself, how you do it.
Yeah, I mean,
the prompt was simply, is it either you're jacked
yeah.
or
And
are you
I'm
fat?
not
What's
gonna
more
argue
attractive?
the fact that our society definitely finds jack guys more attractive. But I disagreed with the statement because it was a blanket statement that I have found untrue in my own life.
Do all of you feel like you'd be more or less attractive, let's say 50 pounds lighter than you are, and simply like just body fat?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that I struggled with for a while is, in me losing weight, am I still going to be able to book the jobs that I book? Because I've built an entire brand.
Why do you do
my
that?
body.
You saw his. You
I'm
see his
going
eyes.
to losing weight. Am I still
Well,
going
watch
to
him
be
just
able to
look down
book
at his
the
stomach.
jobs that I book? Because I've built an entire brand off of my body.
When you look back and you see the guy and you're in shape, etc., and you feel good about yourself, look good, feel good. I think when fat people look at the mirror and they say, "Oh, I like that," that's cope, man. No, you don't. They say that to try to bring themselves up, but the reality is, most of the time when you're fat, you look in the mirror, you're like, "Damn, I really let myself go."
Not every
You're
fat
like, you know what?
person-
It's not that
I
much.
don't see. I don't agree with that right there. Like that's. I mean, I'm sure a lot of like bigger dudes do think that, but not all of them.
Priority, so fuck it.
Abe didn't get to answer the question going around.
Yeah, I was in the same boat as you, just because I feel like I don't agree with the blanket statement. Personally, for myself as a gay man, I find myself attractive. I would say like I go for guys like you as well, and I feel like I get a lot of hits on those types of guys, and I'm pretty content with how I navigate my attraction, and I think it goes a lot to the status and their confidence.
The body positivity movement is problematic.
I want to say yes.
Well, I think where it becomes a problem is obviously you should be comfortable in your body, and if you genuinely love how you look, great, but you can't ignore your health. The body positivity movement becomes a problem when you hide behind this shield of, oh, I should love my body, da-da-da-da-da. Great, but you have to be healthy too. You can't ignore your vitals. You gotta like check yourself on the inside.
Totally agree with that right
I think the big thing is you have to separate the health implication with you just being confident, right? Like I'm all for people to feel confident in their own skin. I think body positivity movement has been beneficial for plus size people in that regard, right? Because let's say there's a plus size person who's too embarrassed to go to the gym because they feel like they're gonna be judged, whatever it is. But it's because of body positivity, they're like, oh, hey, like I see other plus size people in the gym, maybe I'm gonna give it a try. And all of a sudden they start going, they're like, oh man, I like this, right? And they keep it going. You can argue that without body positivity, maybe that day would have never happened for that person, right?
Making fun of Adele for losing weight, but promoting Lizzo for being a fat ass. Unacceptable.
Are a lot of people doing that?
I think the thing around Lizzo is it's not just the weight, it's the lifestyle. You like see her drinking all the time and partying and not sleeping. There's like so little to do with health. It's not just she's promoting like loving yourself, which I think is great. She's promoting a lifestyle that is unhealthy, like being very
Yeah, it's not just the weight part, it's the everything together.
overweight, drinking, not sleeping, all of these things are not conducive to your health. So I think you conflate that, and sure, being body positive is important, like loving yourself, loving the way you look, but if that's gonna influence other people to make bad decisions about their body and their health, that's problematic.
Body positivity is disempowering people. It's making them think that they're healthy at any size, which they're not. And so as soon as you start telling people, hey, just love your body, like Lizzo will literally rub her belly and said, you're giving me all this power as she's eating a burger and she's promoting being obese. By doing this, you're just ruining it for people who actually should think, wait a minute, I can lose weight, I can go to the gym, I can eat less, I can do this.
And I feel like there's a misconception because there are those people that they use it to justify fatness and just, I don't even want to say fatness. I want to make it very clear, unhealthiness, because there's someone like me who I wouldn't say I'm necessarily.
So this kind of goes into the question of like, what is unhealthy? What is obese? What is fat? Is like where's the levels at? Where's the lines? Like what is each section? And that's what kind of is. That's the thing that people got to really realize. And I don't think most people don't know what that is, because even I don't.
All bodies are good bodies. What we do with our body is what matters. And so body diversity is important to me because for a guy like you, or a guy like the two of you, might suffer from body dysmorphia. And that's a very real thing. You might not see yourself for what you really are. And so you're seeking unhealthy habits to achieve a goal. To get where you want to go, like you just got to give it time. Be healthy in it, in all aspects, like mentally, physically. You've got to find the right avenue to do what it is that you need to do for yourself.
The body positivity movement is a huge psyop to keep us fatter and stupider. It's all a scam. The reality is that
he's so
Big
hard
Pharma
on that.
Wants money, and they understand that when you're fat, you have more health problems. They understand that you're going to need insulin, you're going to need medication, etc. And they make a bunch of money on us being sick. There is no incentive to actually have you be healthy. So let's go ahead and make our people fat as hell. Get them in the hospitals, get them on medication, continue to make money.
You know, he actually makes a good point there. I think that's probably like a thing, American thing. Like, is the like reason why we don't have the cure for cancer. It just makes more money to not cure cancer. So I think making fat people would make more money for the majority of businesses too. I never thought about it that way.
I do think that there is a part of it that is problematic, but I think that the problematic.
Oh, side note, is that like kind of the same thing as like systematic racism, or wait, is that what that is? Is that what the phrase is? I think that's what it is, where, you know, it's controlled so that they stay low and under, and you can, you know, make them fight each other type thing.
Part of it is a subset of people that use it as a tool to weaponize whatever it is that they're doing.
I think the whole movement is a problem. The body positivity movement in general is a problem. All of it.
So you shouldn't feel positive even about your own, like for you, it's, for instance,
Well,
right?
I
You're not
think
positive
if
about
you
your
haven't
body?
earned, here's the thing, being happy and content with yourself, it's not given, it's earned. You have to go out there, work, and then you're gonna feel that satisfaction, like, I earned that, that feels
So
good.
at what point do you earn it though?
When you can look back in the mirror and actually, genuinely, not coping, respect the man that you see before you. And the reality is, people are gonna realize that you're gonna need to achieve a certain physique, because you have all these fat people, I love my body. No, you don't. It's a lie, dude. You're just coping, you're lying to yourself. And now all these people on Instagram and TikTok with the body
I do agree that I know a lot of people that do that, but not all of them. So let's see what he has to say next.
positivity movement are lying to themselves. They're not happy where they want to be. They just accept that because they're too lazy to make a change.
No, but I genuinely do love my body.
Right now, as you are?
Yeah.
Then why are you going to the
And
gym?
I'll explain to you.
Then why are you going to the gym?
No. See, that's where he messed up, because, like, he's saying if you love your body, you should go and work on it and go to the gym and be healthy. But like, just because, okay, so for example, I like going to the gym and I like staying fit. But if I could be fit without having to go to the gym, I wouldn't go to the gym. like I like how I am now because I'm fit, but I still have fat. But then I'm not willing to give up my eating habits to look the way I really want to look. So right now where I am is like perfect, right? Like, so that's where I kind of meet myself, where in the happiness line. Because if I just eat the same thing every day to be fit, then why? That's not living. I want to eat fat stuff.
I will explain it to you. I love everything that my body is capable of doing. I love the fact that at my size, I can do a lot of things that other people smaller than me still cannot do.
But you want to lose weight, though.
And yeah, right.
Which is good.
I want to lose weight because I love my body, but I have one body. Why would I not love it?
Yeah.
And because
Hold on, his argument's a little weird now, because he's agreeing with him with wanting to lose weight, but now also saying he still loves his body. I mean, like, you could do both, but now this kind of favors fresh fit guy. His argument.
I love my
But
body
you understand
is
that your
why
body
I'm
now needs to be
looking to make
changed.
changes.
Yeah,
right.
make changes.
But to say that loving your body is BS, no, you make changes. You make healthy changes to yourself because you love yourself.
It sounds like they
all
agree
of
with each
that
other.
time that I'm putting in, the work, the money that I'm spending. That's a labor of love because I love myself enough to know that I want to make some changes to live a better lifestyle in the sense of I can just do a little bit more.
Body positivity kind of comes in and goes, okay, you as a human being have inherent value. Just in the fact that you are a conscious soul on this planet, you have an inherent value. You are within a vessel of your body that you do have control over, but at the same time, you're not less valuable to society or from the standpoint of the soul for what your body looks like.
When I'm speaking about body positivity, I'm talking about the over acceptance and encouragement of being obese.
So I
Agreed.
personally,
Over-acceptance.
again, I'm not
Over.
super online, have not seen anybody pro-obesity ever.
Lizzo.
Oh, there's a bunch, dude.
She loves herself.
don't
There's a
think
Avocado,
that it's
avocado.
pro-obesity.
No, there's a big
They are
difference.
actively promoting obesity.
She's not telling anyone to get fat.
She's showing you exactly how to do it and saying, look at my body as I love and
saying
rub it.
she's
It's giving me
happy.
life. And she's like joking around. And
And
that's
also,
the
I want to
whole thing.
clarify. See, here's
You
the thing.
saw,
there's a
you saw
bunch
his
of fat
face? Hold
influencers.
on.
she's showing you exactly
Look-
how
look
to
at
do
this
it and
dude's
saying,
face.
look at my body as I love and
saying
rub
that
it.
he's
It's giving me
disgusted.
life. And she's like joking around. And
And
That's
also,
the
I want to
whole thing.
clarify.
Look at that.
We're not saying we're gonna go to a restaurant and pig out just because it's entertaining or anything like that. There are people that they're called gainers, that their whole lifestyle, their fetish and things like that revolves around gaining weight.
Yeah, and I understand that you're
We
saying that that's
don't-
not a component to the
it's
body
not-
positivity movement, but
it's
you
not
got to
a part
understand
of
for
it.
the general masses, they're watching that, they're going to attribute it to that. They're not in the niche, they're not a creator, so they're not looking at it like, no, this person's just a gluttonous person. No, they look at everyone who's obese that's making content about being obese and continuing that lifestyle as a part of the body
But they're
positivity
not
movement.
making content about being obese. They're making content about overeating.
Do you think just being in a fat body and being in the public space encourages obesity, just flat out?
yes.
So just
agree.
us existing, we're
Like fat
saying,
racist.
Yes.
yay, everyone go gain weight?
It absolutely impacts other people to think, well, think of it. You're
I've
6'6",
never
good looking,
looked
you're
at- I know,
modeling.
but I've
it's going to
never
encourage
looked
other
at-
people to, well, hey, Look at him.
Let me be
He's got
So
lots
then
of.
what about when I
I've
go
never
to the
looked at
gym? When I step into the gym, or when Zach steps into the gym, or when any of us step into the gym, are we promoting being bigger like that too? Are we going there, and is our presence there unwanted?
By being famous, rich, popular, and being obese, you're indirectly promoting it in the same way that people who take
didn't even answer
steroids
the
and are
question.
350 pounds of muscle and winning the Mr. Olympia are indirectly promoting it, even if they don't say they're taking it.
If you saw us in the gym,
I would be happy and proud and excited, and my whole channel is about helping people who are overweight to lose weight and have realistic expectations. I would never say you have to look like this, you need abs. It's just, let's go halfway there. That's my entire channel, of which I have over 2 million followers. It's all about realistic goals of helping people who are overweight to lose weight. That is what my channel is all about.
but we're in public, and you made the statement that if we step out in public, that it would encourage people to live an unhealthy lifestyle.
The more friends
and
you
be
have who are
obese.
overweight, the more likely you're going to be overweight. It just happens to happen. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. If 90% of the world were overweight, more people would be encouraged to be overweight.
You said by existing just in a fat body, we are promoting it. Yes. I model, and when I do model fitness wear, which I do often, I get so many comments about like, oh, you are promoting obesity. I'm wearing fitness wear. I'm in the gym. I'm doing the thing
use that title.
you want me to do, and I'm still promoting obesity?
If you're exercising and you're trying to lose weight, then you're promoting people who are overweight to try to lose weight. That's great. But if you're Lizzo and rubbing your
I'm
belly,
promoting, I mean, I don't know shit about Lizzo.
Specifically
You're so
about
obsessed with Lizzo.
influencers that promote
that's all they know.
gluttonous, lethargic lifestyles, which a bunch of them do. That's what we're talking about. If you're in the gym and you're fat and you're getting after and you're documenting that, that's fantastic.
so- so-
But the
That's
prompt
what-
was body positivity, and you're talking about influencers who promote gluttonous lifestyles.
Yes.
And that, again, is not body positivity.
So that's why
The general masses don't have that distinction, though.
Abused my body.
so being a bodybuilder, a professional bodybuilder, I've abused steroids, did that for over 10 years. I don't think you can get to the level that you have to get to be at to be a professional bodybuilder while being natural. And so absolutely, and I
see that,
I would
yeah,
say
so
that
it's true.
somebody trying to abuse steroids to get that muscle, to get that look is just as unhealthy as somebody who's obese. So I
know what the
don't
next
try to be a
thing
hypocrite.
is.
I say I've done these poor choices. I'm 48 now, I don't do steroids anymore. And so I recognize that what I did in the past was bad, probably took years off my life. And so I would say to people who are overweight, why don't you do the same thing? And if you're not, then do you really care about your health? Because if you do, you would stop doing the things that are leading to being morbidly obese.
But then to your own argument, you spent 10 years doing something you knew was inherently unhealthy.
Correct.
But then you're gonna turn around and tell people that they should just wake up. But like, why
Yes,
it took you-
exactly.
it took you 10
Like
years
people
to
should
wake
have
up.
told me, Greg, why do you keep doing this to yourself? You do not recognize what's going to happen, and if we call it shaming. Why are you abusing steroids, Greg? Think of it. Think of the years you're taking off your life. Maybe I would have waited.
But the
not
power
that
was
shaming,
in
though.
your
That-
own
I would say I was
awakening,
compassionate.
right? The power right there was in your own awakening to realize within yourself that you were doing something negative, and then you made the change for it, right? And that change is now consistent. That change is now something that you can give a testimony about and help other people change their ways or persuade people
That's a
to
good
just not do it at all, right?
But building on what you said, what was the moment, where the perspective shifted?
Well, I got old enough and realized I can't get any better at this. I can keep taking more and more drugs and try to sustain this, but I said it's not worth it anymore. So I had to completely change
Right
my
there,
mind around what I was doing, which was being judged on
He said it's not worth it anymore, right? So like, it's the same thing as like some people like that are overweight or maybe not even super ripped or nothing like that. Like when they are at their happy medium, like I was saying earlier about me, like it's just where you like to be. That's kind of it. Like this, you don't have to be any bigger or smaller. That's just how it is.
my appearance. And remember, I make money on how I look, and so that's going to have a huge impact on me. And I had to say, I need to get my dopamine, my self-worth from something else. So I quit doing all the bodybuilding competitions, and I said, I'm going to start riding bikes. I'm going to learn Spanish. I'm going to do something else where I can feel good about myself. And it's hard. Like, look at this guy, 300 pounds of muscle. 20 years from now, is he going to want to still be this size? He might look back and say, I maybe regret certain things. And I think if somebody's overweight, they're going to think the same things. Like if you're 400, 500, 600 pounds, you're going to think, is it worth doing this? Is it worth eating all the time? It's tough.
I think this is the first actual middle ground I think we're finding, which is really great because it's true. I mean, I've done I've been harmful to myself on both sides of the spectrum. There are times I was taking, 20 to 30 diet pills and laxatives a day, eating less than 400 calories a day, working out nonstop. And then there's the other times where I was eating way too much, smoking way too much, drinking way too much, and abusing my body in the other way. I think we all come to the realization of what we're doing is harmful in different ways at different times. Like, it took you 10 years to come to realize that was harmful. My thing is, sometimes it takes people who might be overweight or, at that high tier, that 500-600 pounds, to realize that it's harmful for them. And maybe in their life, they don't feel like it's harmful. And they are happy. There are people, believe it or not, legitimately happy in certain sizes and
Ignorance
shapes.
is bliss. I
Yeah.
was happy at the moment. I
But
felt
why
like
is
it
there
was.
bliss an
Ignorance
issue?
is bliss, but you could die before you wake up. You
But you could have
die
done the
before
same
that
thing
happens.
taking steroids. That's my
Exactly.
whole
I could
thing.
have died doing
Yeah.
what I did, and so is it not my responsibility to tell people, don't copy me, and so would it not be somebody who's,
And I don't think there's
500
anything wrong
pounds
with that.
to do
I
the
think-
same thing?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Even when you said before, you're like, well, I wish someone had shamed me, saying, what are you going to do? You're going to kill yourself. That's not shaming to me. To me, that is compassionate and looking out for somebody. It's when you take it to the other level where you start insulting them, degrading them, making them feel like shit.
As
that
men,
doesn't-
we insult
As
each other
men.
and shame each other, but it's as a friend. Like, this is what guys do. Girls don't do it. They all suck up
true.
to each other.
That's-
You're all
I
tens.
don't-
Guys are like, look at your gut, look at your belly.
Say what
yeah.
girls do.
Well, but no, it's important to
I'm telling you what they do.
The
It's
masculine
fact.
from the feminine, because it's guys talking here, and I think it's important to distinguish when something is feminine to say, well, we don't adhere to that over here.
Yeah, but there's been no shortage of generalizations on women in this episode so far.
I did a lot of stupid things. Like I broke the world record in the bench press, and now I can't bench press anymore. And it was my favorite lift. I've had hip operations. I have both
That
elbows
sucks.
reconstructed. I trained too hard. I couldn't stop myself. All that pressure, desire, whether it was installed by myself or from others, to try to fit in, to be socially accepted. And I was addicted. I was bench pressing with shoulder pain. I should have stopped. I couldn't. And so, I set the record and it's done. I can't even lift anymore. I don't squat, bench, or deadlift, because look at Ronnie Coleman. You guys know Ronnie Coleman? He's in a wheelchair. He can hardly walk. He's in pain medications.
What?
And imagine putting your body through all that torture, and then you get in your 60 and now you can't do anything.
So one question I have for you then is, knowing what you
knew
did,
that.
obviously has allowed you to create this platform to speak to these things, to talk about steroid abuse. You understand all the intricacies. Do you think that you would have been able to do that, let's say, if you'd kept your natural status throughout your whole career, you didn't break world records, you weren't an IFBB pro, you didn't have all of those accolades to stand on? Do you think you would still be Greg Doucette and have all the following you do?
I do not think so. I think I'm one of those 1 in a million cases that was able to do what I do and actually got the success that I got. But if I look back and I'm really honest with myself, I regret doing these things. I was natural world champion and I was breaking world records natural,
Meaning
so I had
he's
the records,
pretty
but I
much
wanted.
admitting that, like, there is too much fitness, right? Like, that's pretty much what he's saying. Even though he's still so supporting it, like he's saying there's too much of being fit. And the same argument, obviously, too much of being fat is bad too.
More. I wanted more glory. I wanted more people to say, you're cool, we like you. And so I ended up taking steroids. I did that because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be sponsored. I wanted a pro card. I wanted to be famous. And it worked. At what cost, though? How healthy am I really?
Everything it is that you're saying, right? I don't feel any ounce of like shaming you for it. I think everything that you said is really important, to acknowledge that and to know that and to then share that, right? But the difference is that, like, had someone shamed you, I don't think that you'd feel the same way about it. Instead, people poured life into you and told you, like, hey, I don't think that this is right. I don't think that you should really keep doing this because it's doing more harm.
The opposite happened. I was rewarded. When I started getting
Well,
popular on
okay.
social media, I was talking about my steroid cycles, I was talking about what I've done, and they're like, look at
He
your
just doesn't
muscles,
see
look
it.
at
He
your
really
chest.
doesn't.
And it was like, do you know how hard it was to stop? Because I was being rewarded with dopamine, with people saying nice things about me all the time. And for me to stop, I know that my views on social media go down. If I went on a steroid cycle right now, people are gonna fall, wow, Coach Greg, you're back. We miss the old Coach Greg. And so it's hard for me to be the 48-year-old old man that's still preaching fitness when they say, we love the old Coach Greg, the jacked muscle freak. And I have to fight the urges not to use steroids every single day. Because I know I would look better, I know I would feel better, but I'm like, it's not healthy, and so I have to say no.
I get what you mean about the dopamine reward thing, because for me, I have a similar situation, but kind of in the opposite way. Every time I start slimming down, I start getting the, what are you doing? Why are you losing weight? Because I am in that large guy space. So it's like, it's very funny how much on both sides, outward opinions just like really, really just make what we do hard. I know that when I am doing more cardio and like I'm a big hiker and biker, and sometimes in the summer I'll slim down, but then all of a sudden I'll get a ton of comments from people just being like, we liked you heavier, we liked you this. I'll have clients that'll stop using me because I've gotten too small. And so you're kind of seeking that dopamine, that approval, also that career boost. You get stuck in this loop of doing things that you know aren't good for yourself.
I have the foresight to know like there has to be a limit to it, because if you just let it go, I would have to be probably 25 more pounds of muscle and like have to do things that I'm not willing to do in order to be like, let's say Mr. Olympia, right? So, because all the way through my 20s, I was close to like 230 pounds, natural all the way until I was like 27 and a half. So hopefully I'll be okay going back to that size.
Though it isn't healthy to be on performance-enhancing drugs, you're still pushing your body to a level that most can't, versus by just being fat, that doesn't take any skill or dedication. So
what if
I
a
had
fat
to,
person is doing something like, maybe they're into quantum physics, maybe they're changing the way we view the world entirely. Are they not valuable because they're not shredded?
Well, again, we're talking about the purpose of abusing your body. I'd have more respect for the bodybuilders, my point.
Yeah, well,
okay.
And I think society would enlarge as well, which is why bodybuilders that, like a Ronnie Coleman, et cetera, though he is disabled now, et cetera, he's a legend and he's going to go down in history. If you're going to have abuse of your body on two different ends, right? One extreme is a bodybuilder, the other is a fat influencer. I think me and most of society would have far more respect.
I'm pausing it right there, So that doesn't make sense at all, because like now he's comparing like someone that's great to someone that's just an influencer, when you're supposed to compare apples to apples and not, it's a bad comparison. Obviously comparing that because it's like a winning argument, I think. Like if you were to compare to some famous fat person or something. All right,
I think he's going to respect the hardworking billionaire.
I understand that, but I also think that like if someone's abusing themselves in any way, there should be some empathy and like, rather than just being like, you're a better abuser to yourself than that person.
Fitness culture can be toxic.
Fitness culture can be toxic.
Agree or step forward?
You can perpetuate so many themes that are so unhealthy. Like there's so many images online of people that post in like the best lighting with a pump. That is the societal norm of like what's good, and it even like affects me because I'll see people and I'm like, oh, I look like garbage compared to that. I think that right now it's like there's a lot of misinformation online when it comes to like how to get fit, how to stay in shape, and a lot of people are monetizing it. These like crazy fad diets, like you can't eat certain things, carbs are bad, fruit has sugar in it, so it's gonna make you fat. So like now food is almost being weaponized, and then to be monetized so that you buy their ebook to tell you the exact secret code in order to lose weight. So fitness is an industry, right? So people are incentivized to say whatever that is to make money. And so it's been harder for me as a coach that takes a more holistic approach to wellness.
So he said fitness is an industry. So it sounds like both sides are kind of an industry, because people make like fat foods for fat people so that they can eventually like make money off of the fat people. Same thing as the fit people that want to stay fit and get jacked also are made a lot of money off of because they want to stay fit.
So much pressure to look like us, and it's causing people to develop body dysmorphia. And so this is a huge problem. So when you swipe on Instagram, you're being shown the top 1% of the top 1%. They all have a six-pack abdominals. Everyone feels inferior. There's pressure. Then that causes a whole host of problems, eating disorders, people feeling like shit. They don't like the way they look in the mirror. And then they keep looking for information. And then what information they're getting, half of it's wrong, like you were just describing. And so where do we go from there? There's no solution.
I think the issue comes from the misinformation and just the lack of keeping things simple. But we like to have fat diets, so go paleo, go vegan, go whatever it may be. And it's like, the reality is the best diet is the one that you can adhere to. And I think we need to let people understand that fitness is a lot more sustainable and easier than people think it is, which is why I make fun of fat people so much, because it really is simple, and it comes down to numbers and tracking your calories and being disciplined and going to the gym. This is why I have no sympathy for fat people, because it really is simple.
But that right there is what keeps guys like us out of getting into fitness.
Shouldn't it do the opposite, though?
No. No one wants to be told they're a piece of shit.
If I was being made fun of all the time for being short, I'd wear shoes.
Whoa, pause. now that just pretty much confirms the topic of fitness culture can be toxic, because now they sound toxic.
Named Alex Hormozi, and he does a value equation, and on the top side of that equation you have the perceived value of whatever you're trying to achieve plus the perceived chance of success. So how likely are you to achieve said result? And on the bottom side of the equation you divide by time and you divide by effort. Shaming doesn't work because the value equation is driven by those things. So what I think we need to do on this side of the table is to make those things more accessible. Like you said, providing more value-driven information of like how to achieve a calorie deficit in a more sustainable way. How do you make it so it's not so much time? Because so many people waste time, let's say, doing so much excess cardio where strength training should be the main component. So like that's why I think adding value and decreasing time and decreasing the amount of effort is going to give you guys so much more emphasis or ability to achieve the result and more motivation to achieve said result than being like, oh, you're fat, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So that.
Yeah, like the lack of knowledge is like the biggest thing too, because like if you're just doing the treadmill thinking you're gonna lose a lot of weight and look really good, that's not the only way to do it. There's different ways for different people to look good and progress faster.
I operate on what's real. And the reality is that the world is a much colder and harder place than you think it is, but you want to, people to just understand you and see your perspective and see you as how you see yourself. The reality is the world's never going to see you how you see yourself. They're going to see you on how you display yourself to them. And when you are fat, out of shape, etc., the people, and if they don't get to know you and talk to you and have a conversation with you, they're going to assume certain things. That's just the world that we live in.
Coming from whether the fitness space can be toxic or not, the shame attitude has kept a lot of people out of it. I've been doing fad diets since I was 12 years old. I was put on Weight Watchers. I did Atkins. I did paleo. I did everything you could possibly imagine. And not until I started following other influencers that were more proactive based on, I want to be around for my daughter for as long as I possibly can be. I want to give my body the function it needs. Like just that basic mind shift, hey, life can get a lot better if you do kind of focus on your health a little more. Instead of, you're a fat piece of shit, you need to change. To me, I don't know everyone in the fitness industry, but I know for me personally, it totally changed my relationship with fitness when I started realizing that it was a gross benefit instead of a punishment I had to put onto myself for not being disciplined enough. For people like you to maybe respect me, who, again, we don't know each other in reality. So why am I destroying my life so you will respect me one day?
I think to some degree, shame that's not put on by others could be helpful, right? It has to be something within yourself that can motivate you.
It's like it's a double-edged sword for sure.
I think shame is good. I think it's a very natural response to inadequacy, and it tells people that, hey, maybe I need to change. Like being bullied is.
I think he just needs to change his perspective of shame into being like, I don't know, helpful?
Man, being shamed, it's a good thing because it stimulates you to change and make a better difference most of the time.
But some people don't respond. Like some people, when they get shamed, they get shut down. And now they proceed further into that negative, behavior because it's not.
Yeah, it's like when you tell a kid to do something, they don't want to do it, so they do the opposite. It's kind of like that.
You just said the right word, fitness industry. It is a industry. It is to make money. It's not necessarily to get people into shape, it's to make money. So sure, there's gonna be junctions along the way. Like I'm a coach, there has to be tough love. Like if you're not doing the things you're supposed to be doing, I have to be a little bit harder on you. But that's not gonna start your journey, me being like, you're a fat piece of shit. Whereas like, if we get into it and we're 3 months in and you're not making progress because there's a lot of things you're not doing that we're coaching you on, then of course there's gonna be some tough love, there's gonna be some extra accountability, but I think there's a difference between accountability and tough love than just like shaming somebody into doing something.
In the fitness world, I would rather be with someone who's trying to uplift me, trying to get me to improve, hold me accountable. Tough love, absolutely, I think is important.
Yeah.
There's a fucking difference between tough love and shame.
Absolutely.
Shame is a component of tough love.
Shame is only done with the intent to hurt somebody, not to uplift them.
I was fit. And I got fat, and I don't care.
I mean, but you know what it's like to feel like fit. So like there's like the difference. You can feel the difference.
Honestly, I ain't even too fit or overweight, my boy. But it's big, so I was like everybody.
It's big. I got a big dick. It don't matter. No.
So if you could snap your fingers and look like any of us, would you not do it? Like, would it not be worth
I probably
it?
choose to look like
This
Tyler.
guy.
I want to go to a place where it's comfortable and it's healthy all around. I'm not doing things that could negatively impact me in a way to get to a place like that.
So I feel like you would switch sides if it meant doing it naturally. Like he's obviously natural, he's natural.
That's what I'm saying.
Obviously not.
I would switch sides if it meant that I could do it in a healthy way. And I mean, obviously, like I expressed it, I'm working on that. And
So
I'm not saying that what
just
you did
admitted.
was wrong. I really applaud the fact that you're saying
Who?
to people like, hey, this
Myron?
Green guy says that he would switch sides if he could do it in a healthy way, which is that's normal.
Easy.
Yeah, that's something anybody can do.
this was what
Bro,
my journey
I
was.
lost weight
This is what it
just by eating chicken and rice and veggies, bro, for like 3 months straight.
Yeah, that's like a healthy diet right there. and all it is just eating healthier. Just a little bit of change that goes a long way.
I lost weight from playing Valorant.
You just stressing.
Excellence and comfort cannot coexist. If you want to be,
He said excellence and comfort cannot coexist. When you're going to the extremes, you're saying excellence versus comfort. Yes, but there's the medium that he never wants to touch. He never like.
Which is uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like I do get that. Like being in your comfortable spot, you're not gonna get nowhere. But it
It's
doesn't.
kind of where, what's his name? David Goggins falls into, like, why are you doing everything so comfortable? Like, be uncomfortable. Get used to being uncomfortable.
Yeah. Because like if you're not uncomfortable, then you're probably not doing something right.
anomaly and you want to be the trendsetter, you want to be the top guy, you got to be able to be
I
comfortable.
just don't
being
like Myron.
uncomfortable. As far as like weight loss,
I don't like him
just
either,
saying
but
things
some of his
to get a
things he
viral
says is
clip.
pretty straight up.
Yeah, like he does say some really like honest and truthful things, but he's like too rough about
It's
it.
too blunt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing as well is like, if you tell like a guy that weighs like that, I could say like that guy got the green jacket. Between Myron picking whoever it is comfortable with their body. Like if you tell somebody take off your shirt in the middle of the beach, like who's gonna take it off first? You get me?
Yeah,
I'll take my pants off
that's a
first.
good point too. That's what Doofy do, because Doofy got the big one.
Yeah, I'm taking my shorts off first, but boy.
Your physique is in your control.
I realized that where you're at, given like the
Who the
ideal
fuck does
circumstances,
Myron
it
look
is
like that?
your choice.
You know, I wondered the same thing when I was watching, because he always has that one eyebrow up, and he's always like looking like he doesn't blink, like he barely blinks. I'm telling you.
You get depressed and you get sad, rightfully so, because you're a fuck up.
Have you
That is why.
experienced depression?
Well, I've always been. I've had times where I've been sad and stuff, but I always get over it.
So you shouldn't speak on it then. 'cause
And
that's
I
like
think
real
that's very
shit.
insensitive to people
Yeah,
who actually
people
have
deserve
mental
to be-
health disabilities.
Yeah, he doesn't understand depression because he's never been there. It's like he's insensitive to it.
Depression most of the time is not real. No.
He just said depression is not real. That's what happens when like when you think you're up there and you just believe you're up there and you're not really part of the world. Like you're not down to earth. These things.
That's fucking wild.
No.
That's
Okay.
fucking wild.
The earth is flat too.
A lot of the time.
He said- Green shirt said, and the earth is flat too.
I'm speaking generally in this context of being fat and why you were depressed. It's because
That wasn't the only reason why I was depressed, but go on.
okay,
Yeah.
but it's a component. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
it was a big component,
It was
for
a
sure.
response to your
Yeah.
inadequacy as a man. And the thing is that we live in a meritocracy. I know everyone likes to run around and say, "Oh, everyone's equal and it's all equality for everyone." No, that's not how the world works. Why the fuck should I be treated equally to someone who's fat, broke, not disciplined, and not as intelligent? It's a competition.
quality
Life
come
is a
from?
competition.
Where are you getting the notion?
I mean, I guess I understand the argument. I see where he's coming from because like the truth isn't like no one's born equal. Like so, there's just people are luckier than others. You know, people are born into rich families. Some people are not, and some people are born with better parents than others and stuff like that. So I guess to that point, like people aren't equal.
Show me a guy that's making money, successful, has a good set of friends around him, has a network, etc., that is depressed. You would rarely find that. Are there exceptions to the rule?
so many-
Of course.
there are
There's always
so
there's
many
always
people
there's always exceptions
that
to the
have
rule.
hit the news that
There's
have
always exceptions to the
unalived
rule.
themselves because
There's
they were
always
depressed. They were making
exceptions
money,
to
they
the
were
rule.
fit.
But in general,
Understand that it's
when you
not
get
black and
depressed,
white. You looked at me and you made assumptions about laziness, about not caring about my health and things like that, when that's the complete opposite. I reached out, I got myself a trainer because I was like, I can't do this alone. And I told him straight up, these are the things that I want you to work on with me. I want to work on building mass, losing weight, but most importantly, consistency. And I feel like all of you guys can agree that that's what it is, right? Am I where I like ideally want to be yet? No. But I also learned that I needed to love myself as I am right now and build those tools so that when I get to where I'm going, I can enjoy it that much more.
I totally agree. It's within my, because I've gotten really svelte in my past, but I was at like my worst state mentally, like didn't feel good, wasn't prioritizing the things that meant something to me in my life, my career, my family, my daughter. Health is still super important to me. That's why I still work out, still lift, still do cardio, still hike, still bike, still do all those things. The amount of time I've had to spend in the past to get to that isn't worth it in my daily life. I'd rather spend that time, focusing on
also,
that.
would you agree, like
Different
looking at
priorities.
his physique, like he's at a perfectly, I would say, maybe healthy.
No.
You think?
No.
He's definitely overweight, definitely obese.
I mean, if you count BMI,
I'm not trying to put you down, just being honest.
By a BMI standpoint,
But there's a
I'm
big difference
absolutely
between
obese.
this weight and if you gain 200 pounds. But if you gain 200 pounds,
I still don't know what categorizes obesity. Like, how do you know when a person's obese? Like, what fat percentage is that?
It's like
200
weight
pounds. That's kind
to
of what I
height
said. I kind
ratio.
of found kind of like a homeostasis where I'm happy and I feel healthy and I feel active and I feel like I
And there's
can
like
do
other measurements
what I
to
need
it
to
too.
do. All my numbers are
Not
in the right
not to
place.
BMI, but like
So
other
I feel good.
measurements
It's
to like
just
determine your
it hasn't been a
obesities.
priority for me to go further.
yeah, you don't need to. It's all about balance from halfway
what
there.
about you?
What's sustainable is different for everyone, right? I think there's a way to weave in fitness in your life in a sustainable manner that might not encompass you losing a ton of weight. I think people kind of have different stages in life where they're focusing on different things, and I think that's something I can completely respect.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, as long as you know that you have the agency to actually make that change,
Yeah.
when the time comes, when you want to do it, like I don't see
Yeah.
anything wrong with that.
I was very curious, out of show of hands, who here feels like after spending time in this space, you feel like you're closer to understanding the other side than when we stepped in the room?
I agree. I do feel like I understand the other side more.
A little surprised.
Dang.
I understand it less. Literally, like,
We'll talk
Just, we
after.
can't, we run the risk of it blowing open again, but this was a super, super interesting discussion. One of the more interesting episodes I've been a part of. So thank you all. Thanks for sharing your perspective. Absolutely. I think that's a wrap, right?
Dang. All right. Dang. Fat racist and another fat racist.